Good morning and welcome to the annual meeting of the Alden Kindred in 2024. I'm Pauline Keyser, the current president for the next hour. And I welcome you and your family and friends that have come. We'll try to keep this as concise as possible because it is a warm day and we have lots going on ahead of us. After the meeting, we have a photo of everybody and then there's lunch served in here. There's tours of the house. There's all these other things going on, the silent auction in the barn. And the barn is thankfully still air conditioned. If the building schedule was exactly on schedule, it wouldn't have been, but we are lucky that we have the air conditioning in there today. So I will start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have Jerusalem Toomey, who is a member of the Coast Guard, and she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I now call on the Reverend Peter Smith. Peter is our official chaplain and good friend, and very kindly had his wife Carol working for us for years, which is wonderful. Please welcome Peter Smith.
Thank you, Pauline, and congratulations on your years of service and successful completion. Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we are grateful for your care for us and our families through the years. We are grateful for those who have served in this and other organizations with diligence, integrity, and skill. We ask your guidance and blessing upon them and those who come before, especially that this organization, this family, might faithfully discharge its duty, responsibility, and privilege of carrying the lessons of the past onto the present and the future. Help us, we ask, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. Just asking a question. I was going to say stand, it's too hot to stand. If you have any relative that was on the Mayflower, please raise your hand. A couple of exceptions in the front row. We welcome you, and we're welcoming especially today Bradford's, and late tomorrow there's a brunch at the Bradford House that we've been invited to come over to as well. We started this a year ago with the Delano family and the Soul family, and each year we begin to ask other Mayflower families to join us because first of all we have the facility and we have the ability to be on site, and that's very helpful. So, I would like to introduce my officers and board, some for the last time. My board as first vice president is Russell Rockwell. Would you please stand? Rich Holmes is the second vice president in the back. Evelyn Walker is my secretary. Alden Kaiser, where are you? My treasurer. John W. Alden Esquire, where are you? There you go. Lily Campbell, Ann Cabuzzi, where are you? Christopher Lee is not here today, but he just recently got married in Italy. He has an excuse. Greg O'Donnell is not present today, but he's also on the board. Peter Randall, Peter's here somewhere. He's probably doing a chore because that's Peter. Pamela Campbell Smith, you'll hear from later. Tom McCarthy is our historian from Maryland. Jen Sensgali. So they are the current board, and they brought us to this point in our history. Please come in and sit down. There's seats here. Yeah, you can sit in front. Okay, thank you. Thank you to all of them. I really appreciate and enjoy your friendship, and it's been a pleasure to have served you. The minutes of the annual meeting, Evelyn? The last annual meeting, last August.
Good morning. This is a synopsis of what's in your report at the very end. 123rd annual meeting of the Alden Kindred was opened at 10:05 a.m. under the tent on the Alden grounds and on Zoom. The Pledge of Allegiance was led by Amanda Coker. Pauline welcomed all, including members of other early families who officially attended for the first time. The Delano Kindred, the Souls, and members of the Peter Brown family. The Reverend Peter J. Smith gave the invocation. The secretary read a synopsis of the 122nd annual meeting, which was unanimously accepted. Treasurer Alden Kindred described the financial health of the organization and thanked the Finance Committee, Director Desiree Mobed, and Bookkeeper Carol Smith for all their work. Alden said that there was an operational loss this year due to needed maintenance on the rental properties and a very big increase in the cost of insurance. After questions from attendees, the report was unanimously accepted. Genealogist Christopher Lee reported that with the help of Bob Holmes, 94 Aldens were verified this year and are listed in the annual report. Roll call of those present and those present on Zoom was taken. Nominating Chair Lily Cleveland presented the slate of officers for the new year. The slate was unanimously accepted. Scholarship Chair Linda Osborne presented her grandson, Ryan Curley, a former Dr. Donald B. Young Scholarship winner. She also presented the current winner of the John and Priscilla Alden Museum Scholarship Award, Samuel Elliott of Duxbury. On Zoom, Nicholas Hamlin, current winner of the Dr. Donald B. Young Scholarship, thanked the Alden Kindred from his home in Salina, Texas. Executive Director Desiree Mobed reported that we had our largest grant from the Massachusetts Cultural Council, and we had a large donation from the Duxbury Wine and Food Festival, both for the barn addition. Mostly Alden descendants were those who visited the museum this year. Zoom and COVID have helped small museums reach out online to broader audiences. The annual haunted house was very successful. Hands-on educational programs taught children about the legacy of the Pilgrims, not just about the Alden family. This year's Speak for Thyself fundraiser dinner was the most successful ever, once again led by Ann Cabusi. There is a new Alden website, and consultation on work on the chimney is continuing. The 1772 Foundation provided funds for exterior work on the windows. A very supportive relationship with the superintendent of the Duxbury schools has been developed so that there will be an agreement between the schools, the town, and the Kindred for the protection of the first site with the authority of the Massachusetts Historical Commission. Desiree also said there is a new souvenir book on the Alden House by former board member and museum expert Jerry Roberts. President Pauline concluded the meeting with remarks on the changing museum world. In Duxbury, the Alden House, the Maritime School, and the Duxbury Rural and Historical Society came together to create the Duxbury Community Collaborative. 16 cultural and educational groups now belong to the collaborative. Together, they created a See Duxbury Day this year so that visitors could enjoy numerous events for free at many different locations. Pauline pointed out that the barn addition for the Center for Living History will help bring people together to understand the importance of the Mayflower Compact for our democracy. Pauline recognized the directors, staff, board members, volunteers, and all contributors, and especially Alden Kaiser and architect Pam Campbell Smith for their hard work and dedication to making the center a reality. She announced that groundbreaking for the new center will follow. The meeting was adjourned at 11:30 a.m.
All in favor of approving the minutes? Say aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. And it shows our road along the path that leads us here today. We have a special guest that's online all the way from Dorking, England, the home of Priscilla Mullins. And her name is Margot Cooksey. And I think she's ready to say hello. Is she not? We always wonder.
Hello.
Can we hear her?
Hello. I'm not sure whether you
Hello?
can hear
Can
me.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm not sure you can hear me. Is it coming through?
I can hear you. Can you hear her? They can hear
Okay.
you. Go right ahead.
In which case, can I say a very warm hello to everybody. It's very warm in the UK at the moment, although we've reached the thundery stage. We don't get to keep heat for very long before it all breaks down and is unpleasant. But it's not raining at the moment, I'm pleased to say. And you look to have a glorious day for your celebrations today. We've in the UK had a very busy year thus far with elections, and your general election is about to kick off big time, I think. So I hope you're able to enjoy your celebrations today before you really get embroiled in election fever, and we'll be watching very carefully to see what happens. Our relationship is blooming. It's all on Zoom, of course, but it's working really well, and we're very pleased with the way things are going, and in particular the links between two of our schools and the museum. And we hope to be able to move forward with other things this coming year. So just really wanted to wish you well for today. Have a wonderful day. The program looks really good, but I'm afraid I can't stay for very long because we have a house guest that I need to go and take care of. But it's good to be able to be with you, even for a very short period.
Thank you. My daughter and I were there 2 years ago, and last year they had a terrible fire in the Dorking Museum, and they didn't lose things, or a couple of things got repaired, but there's a whole corner in it that has to do with pilgrims, and they have this gigantic wooden wall hanging made by old men in Dorking who live in a home who have the kind of skills with wood. And it shows a cross section of the back stern of the Mayflower, and complete with all the people working and doing different things. Fortunately, it got singed, but it stayed. I'm just really praying that that did not end up in the fire. So they've had a tough year, but as I said, we went. I had no idea what to expect in Dorking. I'm hoping that maybe sometime in the next 4 years, there's another trip to Dorking that a lot of you would like to go on, because it was fabulous. Who knew in Dorking, the largest winery in England sits there in the form of Denby's? Who knew? I didn't know. And it's just loaded with houses that were built in the 1660s. And they don't, it's dry, they're brick, they didn't build with wood, and they're all there. So plan a trip sometime and probably stop in the building where Priscilla is thought to have been born. It was owned by her dad. It was the home of his carpenter shop. And on the corner, there's a couple. She's from England and he's from, let's see, where's he from? He's from the Middle East somewhere. And where? Iraq. And they have delved into this history. There's a sign on the wall that says what happened here. It's she makes at least 8 cakes a day, and it's delicious, and they keep it alive. I walked in, and there's a picture of the Alden House, a big mural on the wall, and placemats that have John and Priscilla all over it, and Peter Brown and William Mullins as well. Amazing. But the most amazing thing is I walked into a meeting, where they had a speaker, and they were just finished, and they realized had come in, so they introduced us that we were here. We were Priscilla Mullins' relatives. This lady turns around and said, "Oh, are you a Mullins?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess I am." She said, "I've never met a Mullins." So these people never met a Mullins, but they celebrate her history. It's intense. So stay tuned, and maybe sometime I'll get to go back again. Maybe some of you will join me. Thank you so much, Margot, for being online. It was a pleasure to hear your voice. Let's see, I think we're not going to have a genealogist report at this moment, I don't believe, other than if you look at your annual meeting book. You're going to give it? Okay. Bob Holmes, one of our genealogist's brother, got assigned to give his report today. Okay. All in the family.
That's it. Well, I was worried when she said they have a very special guest next, and I knew I was next on the agenda, so. But after being married for 52 years, I'm used to being third. Christopher's not available. He's just returned, who is our genealogist, is just returned from his honeymoon and got caught in traffic. My brother had hoped to be here, but life events got in the way, and he will be here next year. So Rob, my brother Rob, I call him Rob, has submitted his report, and I'm not going to read the whole report because he's very detailed. He's a genealogist, but the pertinent things are, in the last 12 months, 97 lineages have been verified from John and Priscilla. The number one with 36 was Joseph. Looks like number two was Elizabeth with 28. But listing them, David with 6, Jonathan with 7, Rebecca with 3, Ruth with 12, Sarah with 4, and we're still looking for descendants of Mary and Priscilla. Nobody has surfaced in 400 years or 300 whatever years. So that would be an event if we had the annual reunion and somebody raised their hand and said, "Nice to meet you." The other thing is Alden Kindred members would like to have their Alden lineage certified, should submit a synopsis online to, and there's a website here. And as I said, there were 97 last year. And my brother has told me what he goes through. It's, you know, people with the same name and same towns, and it's pretty intense, and he does a pretty good job. So the rest of it you can read at your leisure, and thank you so much.
And just a reminder that a few years ago, we altered our constitution as to who could be members of the Alden Kindred. We are a National Historic Landmark, and as such, we need support from people anywhere that want to support a National Historic Landmark. So we made a landmark decision to allow anybody to become a member of the Alden Kindred. And then if you wanted to be a lineage member, there was an extra step to go through. Some people want to do that, and some people would like to do it and said, "No, but never, I'm not going to do that because it's too much work." And but we wanted everybody to be involved, and it has increased our membership, and it has made us people feel more welcome, and that we're not a closed group, and we welcome other people. It was fairly unique in Mayflower family organizations to do it now, and a number of those people talking to me now, talking about, how'd you accomplish that? What did you do to make the changes? But we did it because we knew we were going to build up something bigger that was bigger than anything we've done. So you can be proud that this organization continues to grow, as some others are slower in that regard. At the outset, Peter Smith said a prayer. Peter, are you got a list? Okay. Unfortunately, we've lost some key members this year, including one board member, Paul Clementi. And I have to mention, just last week, my dear friend Caroline Bingham. Her husband George was very involved for years, and so was she. And the day that I took the presidency, and we talked about getting that land next door, this little lady who can barely walk stands up with a check in her hand and gave me the first $2,500 towards that purchase. And that was Carolyn. And we've stayed in touch all these years, talked to her endlessly through various stages of her life. And I was sad to see that this past week that she passed away. So just keep her in your mind, keep Paul in your mind, and you have a list of other people as well. Okay.
Thank you again. In your report, I understand you'll have some of the details of those whose deaths we were notified of prior to going to print, and then there'll be two others I'll give you a little more information of. But let us remember with thankfulness and reflect on the good contributions of their lives to us and to many, many good causes. For Raymond McDonald Alden, and whose ancestor was Joseph, Paul Clemente of Jonathan, Timothy Dahl of Ruth, Stephen Derby of Sarah, John Erb of Joseph, Jane Fulton of Joseph, Louise Cale of Jonathan, Jane Cousins, Porter Pierpont Morgan of David, John Nastic of Jonathan, Nancy Emma Powell of Sarah, Evelyn Stearns, Judith Sturgis of Joseph. And then we recently learned of the passing of Judith Burdick of Ruth, and as was mentioned, Caroline Susan Webb Bingham, whose husband was a descendant. Allow me to offer a prayer. We are thankful, God, for those who have gone before us. Pray that our lives might leave legacies of faithfulness, care, and encouragement, and ask your compassion on all who grieve at the passing of these dear ones. Through Christ who rose again. Amen.
Thank you very much, Rita. We shall miss them. I would now call on the treasurer. Last time I could say treasurer, Alden Kaiser. Come and give us a report.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me well enough. If you can't, raise your hand. Okay. I was gratified to see a fellow Coastie giving the Pledge of Allegiance to our great country. So usually it's either 93 degrees at these meetings or there's a torrential downpour. So today we might have both. As Pauline said, my name is Alden Kaiser. I'm the retiring treasurer. And I'd like to start my report by, once again, as I usually do, thanking Desiree and our bookkeeper, Carol Smith. They make my job a lot easier than it could be. If you want to follow along in your book, the financial report, at least the numbers are on page 14 in your book. This report is as of our fiscal year end. Our fiscal year end is June 30th every year. I'm going to be brief. We pretty much, at least fiscally, had a normal year. We had budget overruns in one area, or one significant area, and that was in repairs to the property that's in front on the side here and the caretaker's cottage in the back. We had a change in tenants in both of those buildings, and we had to renovate them to make sure that we could get new tenants in those buildings. And of course, with buildings of both their age, once you get into the walls, you find things that you didn't think were there. So the board, we did have overruns, and the board authorized the transfer from our endowment of $14,563 to cover the overruns. And that's one of the things the endowment is for. Our financial health is good. We have adequate cash. At our Fidelity account, we have $1,475,000. And that is made up of $627,000 endowment and $847,000 of the Alden building campaign, the capital campaign that we've been running. And that's a good lead into, I'm also supposed to talk about the capital campaign. The capital campaign has been going on for about 4 years. And we've been averaging total contributions between 200,000 and 300,000 every one of those years. And as of now, we've raised $1.2 million, and we've been able to start the addition to the house, or to the barn, which you will see over there. And I hope you walk over there if you haven't walked over there to see it. It's going to be a beautiful addition to the property. I'd like to thank our capital campaign committee, who've been involved with this for over 4 years. It's been a long process. Our architect, Pam Smith, and before her, Bill Thayer, our board, who has stayed committed throughout, and finally, our dedicated staff. And thank you all for being here. Yeah. Are there any questions that I can address at this time? If not, I'll just take a motion to accept the report. Thank you.
Motion is carried. Okay. Yes, we are going to hear about this building and what it's going to look like. And we are so fortunate to have an architect on our board who was married to an Alden and has an Alden grandchild and a daughter. And Pam Campbell Smith is a unique person. If you looked at her resume, you'd see a zillion boxes checked of things that she can do. She can make Nantucket baskets. Okay, she can run in a Japanese marathon. She runs in the Boston Marathon. I mean, there's no end to your talents, and plus she has the skill of being an architect, and she has helped us immeasurably in this process. And this week, I said, listen, we need a value of what time you put in and what it's worth, because that's in-kind contribution. And I can tell you that as of today and throughout the rest of the project, she has donated in kind over $100,000 to the Kindred for that purpose. Let's give her a rousing hand. Come up and tell her about it.
I'm Pam. There should be a binder on all the tables that you can pass around and look at, and it has information about the addition that we're putting on the building. I'll be available after the photograph if anybody wants to meet me over at the foundation, and we can walk through the building. So a year ago, we were all here with a shovels, and we started the process. We've had a couple of hiccups, but we're here. We anticipate that the building will be finished in May of next year. So at the next reunion, we should be giving tours. The concrete slab is expected to be poured next week. The beams, the lumber has all been ordered. This preliminary design started, as was mentioned by Bill Thayer, in 2020. So this has been on our radar for quite a few years. That's my report. Thank you.
Be sure to go over and ask her lots of questions. And now we're going to,
Overheated with the need some water.
Oh, yeah, if someone like a glass of water, raise your hand. And, he's got some bottles there, they're gonna pass some around. It is dry. Leave one up here. Okay. Rich, do you hear me? I'll take one up here. Thank you. All right, it is warm. I keep going back in the shade. One of the things that we usually do at the very end of the meeting is we take a roll by son or daughter of John and Priscilla. This year, we're doing it in the middle because you're all seated, you're all there, it's quicker. What happens at the end of the meeting, people get up, walk around, and we don't get an accurate count. So right now, we have Marty Boberts, who's handing out water, and Rich Holmes. They're gonna call the roll with name to name, and maybe we could have Jacobson get up here and count some hands that raise, okay? Okay, we'll do that now, so that's one less thing we have to do before lunch.
So drum roll. If you're descended from Elizabeth, please raise your hand. Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Hold on, 1 second. I just had a fleeting message, literally.
Well, I need a
Yeah.
fleeting message for a pen.
Anyway, Christopher Lee is on the line, and you might have him to call the roll. Christopher, are you there? Let's see.
I am here, but I'm perfectly happy to have Marty and Rich do it as well.
Rob, he says, come up here and you call the names. He just wants to listen.
But why don't we
Happy
have,
honeymoon.
since Marty and Rich are there, why don't we have them do it? I'm happy to listen this time, and I hope you guys are enjoying a wonderful reunion and meeting.
So I believe we had 14 Elizabeths.
Yes.
John. None? Joseph. One more. Sarah.
How many won the last one?
11,
No, one more.
12. Sarah. Let's try Sarah one more time. Sorry, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11. Oh, I didn't. 13. No, I was right the first time. Okay, thank you.
Are we ready? Jonathan? Yes, I will.
5.
5. 6.
6.
Ruth?
1, 2, 3, 4. 11.
11. Rebecca? 13. Hold on, change that to
13.
13. Rebecca?
Only 1, 2, 3. 3.
3. Mary? Priscilla? We're looking.
Oh, Priscilla.
David?
1, 2, 2.
2.
No, yes, 14.
We all set?
Yep.
All righty. Thank
So
you,
Rich-
Christopher, for joining
Yep.
us.
Thanks,
See you
Christopher.
soon. Okay.
Pauline, can you hear me? I have a report from those online. So
Oh,
we have
yes, I can hear
four
you. Now
Joseph,
repeat it.
yep, 4 Joseph
Poor
descendants,
Joseph,
1 Elizabeth, surprising, just one.
1 Elizabeth,
1 David,
1
3
David,
Ruth,
3
and
Ruth,
yes, and that's where we are right now. Oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna go back. Yes,
If you get more, you
right,
can add them to the
Christopher, right, we're
total.
gonna add 2 more to the Joseph column and 1 to the Elizabeth. So did you get that, Evelyn?
What?
Yeah, we've got 2 Elizabeths and 6 Josephs. So our Josephs are the winning online.
Okay,
And as I get updates, I'll let you know.
and you need to come out here now.
Yep, I'm coming.
Okay. All righty. So, first of all, is Alicia Williams here? Oh my gosh, I'm looking all over the place. Just made it on time. Alicia Williams is part of the scholarship committee and will be doing the final report and announcing our scholarship winner. Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone. The Alden Kindred gives 2 scholarships every year. The first scholarship is for $500, is awarded to a Duxbury High School student who's interested in studying either a trade or an academic field. The scholarship winner is chosen by the teachers of Duxbury High School who look for academic excellence, community involvement, and leadership potential. This year, we are delighted to announce that the winner is Molly Funk. Is Molly here today? No, okay. Who is a serious student of history and who pursued an internship at the Duxbury Rural and Historical Society during her senior year. Molly will be attending Boston College in the fall and plans to study political science and journalism and to pursue a career in the journalism field. Our second scholarship is the Donnell B. Young Memorial Scholarship, which is worth $1,000. It was established in 1987. We were just calculating out that for 37 years now, we have been giving away Donnell Young scholarships. So we gave away 37,000 scholarship dollars to our children through this process. I should mention that the hard fact of life is that the scholarship fund has been depleted. And anyone who is interested in helping me replete it, please talk to me this afternoon. One of the interesting things about repleting the scholarship fund is that all we need is $1,500 a year. Even if we don't have extra in the bank, I'm willing to pledge $100 a year. If I can get 14 other cousins who pledge the same, then we'll have our 1,500. All right, get back to work. Our winner of the Donnell Young scholarship is Daniel Joseph Soper of Wyoming, Iowa. David Joseph Soper. David is a descendant of Jonathan Alden, which means that his branch of the family actually owned this property. He is a solid A and B student at the Midland Middle and Cascade High Schools in Wyoming, Iowa, with a grade point average of 3.8215. Ranked 3rd in his class of 31. He has played baseball all 4 years of his high school career, and including pitching a perfect game in the 9th grade. He has received varsity letters in baseball and basketball and the Superior Honor Roll Student and Academic Award. We ask our scholarship applicants to write a little essay on what it means to be an Alden. And David's essay gives tribute to the work ethic he has inherited from his parents, grandparents, and Alden ancestors. He will attend Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa, majoring in history education. Now, is David on?
Yes.
Hi, David.
We are very proud of you and your achievements. You are a worthy recipient of this scholarship, and we hope it will help you achieve your dreams. I do understand that Cornell College has an award-ranking Midwest Conference baseball team. Perhaps we might see you pitching in Fenway Park someday.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I just like to say thank you for choosing me as the winner of the scholarship. It means a lot. I found out about the scholarship through my uncle John Alden, and he helped me and my family a lot with the getting involved or getting signed up or registered as a part of the Alden Kindred, and he was very excited to find out that I won. He and my grandma on my dad's side were two people I kind of wrote my my essay about. They're very hard workers, they're kind, they're loving, very courageous people, and I just thought that they were everything that an Alden should everything that an Alden is about, and that's just what I wrote my essay about, and I am very grateful that you guys chose me as the recipient this year. So thank you.
Thank you, David.
We're winding down, and I'm going to ask Executive Director Desiree Mulbert, just to say it's been a wonderful 10 years working with you. And actually it's 8 years. I hired you after I was in this position 2 years. And it takes a team to get things done. And you've been a wonderful partner in that team. I appreciate it. And I think you deserve all the credit for doing so many things. Part-time. We'd like to give you a report.
Thank you, Pauline. All right, so, wow, is it hot enough yet? All right, well, I just want to welcome everyone. I know our Bradford folks are also having their meeting, but we're looking forward to having them join us a little bit later today. And of course, our folks on Zoom who are joining us from California, Colorado, and around the country. So we have members, I believe, in every state, and it's wonderful to see them all engaged. So just looking back on some of your more recent intrepid ancestors, the 1902 Alden Kindred reunion, the first one held here at the Alden House at the invitation of the Alden family. There were 250 who attended, and their program featured drives. Now think 1902 drives. I think that there was a buggy or some kind of cart involved in that drive, not air conditioned. And dinner, of course, under a large tent. But it made the front page of the Boston Herald, and certainly was probably an amazing experience. So coming to more recent times, we continue to maintain a very strong presence in the community through our educational programs, events, and we're fresh off, I've probably said this like a dozen times in the last couple of days, an award-winning float in the July 4th parade. Thank you, Peter Randall. But I think the star of the show was Peter's 4-year-old granddaughter, who held up the entire way throwing candy. So we also, of course, as Evelyn mentioned, had our most successful Speak event until this year, which was an even more successful Speak event, which is beautifully detailed in your annual report. And despite even rain one night, our haunted house event continues to enthrall Duxbury and the South Shore and is a sellout for 21 years. I don't know how many different ways you can scare kids, but we're working on it. Behind the scenes, we also achieved some other very important milestones. 60 years after the collaboration between the Alden Kindred and the town of Duxbury. My husband is so good. 60 years after this collaboration between the town and AKA to excavate the 17th century home site of John and Priscilla in advance of an athletic field that brought in bulldozers. The Alden Kindred has, through many twists and turns Pauline can tell you about, has successfully negotiated a formal agreement with the Duxbury schools to ensure the long-term preservation of that site. For those of you who are new, thank you. Thank you, thank you. For those of you who are new to the Kindred or who have not yet had a chance to visit it, please walk down there. It's just a few hundred feet from here. It is the heart and soul of the Alden story, and 10.5 by 38 feet, you all. There your ancestors were raised. 400 square feet, 10 children. Never sure how they did it. This memorandum of understanding also includes a professional survey, which details the area known as the National Historic Landmark and protects an additional block to the south that has not been disturbed and may harbor artifacts of future interest. So this MOU will be recorded with the county registry of deeds. So that is a big step forward and a big thanks to the superintendent at Duxbury Schools. A generous grant from the Rockland Trust Foundation supported a project to reanalyze and catalog the almost 2,000 artifacts attributed to Native Americans that were uncovered in that 1960 excavation of that site by Roland Robbins. And they will become this research will become part of an expanded exhibit in our new Center for Living History. Very briefly, this research indicates that that site was occupied probably for about 1,500 years of seasonal use. And most of the items are locally made tools, but a fascinating collection. And also now an addition of another about 200 pieces from Evelyn Walker's family that will certainly add to the story. They've got some cool ones like pendants and some other tools that we'll be very excited to have. Daniel Soto, the archaeologist who did this project, will present his research at the library in October, and that will also be broadcast on Zoom. So we will be sending that information out shortly. If you've had a chance to look through your report, you'll note Building and Grounds has been exceptionally busy, as Alden noted, because of some much needed repair work on some of our cottages. But Alden House also got some attention. And please, when you're here today visiting the house, when you go into the parlor, ask to see the crack. And they'll know right away what that crack is, all nicely filled in now, thanks to our mason. And also a much harder to note, but trust us, it's there, some stabilization of the pier in the hearth. So additional assessments still have to be done on the upper section of the chimney, and finally a reparging of the exterior chimney stack. But as a fun note to this rather long and painful project, the investigation revealed a large cooking hearth behind the parlor wall. So when the Aldens first put up that parlor, it wasn't a parlor, it was a kitchen. And as a matter of fact, that makes about 4 kitchens in their 350-year-old house history. So we encourage you, you'll have a chance. When they turned it into a parlor, they did fill in the cooking hearth. So all you can see is the lintel, but it runs the length of the paneling. And it's really interesting. So you can, if you get your cell phone flashlights going, you can see it behind in the kitchen. So do please check it out. I'm also very pleased to share the news that the Kindred has acquired a very small piece of fabric that is credibly connected to Priscilla. And it is from the collection of the Provincetown Museum and Pilgrim Monument, in Provincetown Museum. It descended in the family. John and Priscilla's daughter, Ruth, was cut up sometime in the 19th century. And these separate pieces were eventually donated to a few museums. Fortunately, with the genealogy to go with it. So all you genealogists who keep tracking these things, it does matter. But as a fun note for this piece of fabric, the Alden Kindred first learned about this back in 1903, when one of their members, Vernon Field, announced to the Kindred, "We have been quite proud in our family in the possession of a bit of material which has come down the generations as a piece of the wedding dress of Priscilla." But whether or not it's the wedding dress or some other very special gown, 120 years later, we now have a piece of that fabric, and it will be a showcase piece in our new Center for Living History. So as we're gearing up for the 250th anniversary of America's independence, we are doing research and various programs that highlight the contribution of the Alden family during this time. As you probably know, I think John Adams is covered, but not so much some of the others. And we have our own Revolutionary War hero here, Major Judah Alden, who served throughout the war in the Continental Army. There's correspondence with George Washington that has survived. He apparently knew the Marquis de Lafayette, and he was the president of the Massachusetts Society of the Cincinnati. So quite a significant, story to tell. Also, thanks to Pauline and her family, there are a number of pieces from Judah that has descended in their family, and she has generously donated them to the Alden House. So you can see some of those as well. Stephen O'Neill, who has curated our archaeology exhibit, will be doing a talk on Judah Alden on September 17th. Again, for those of you not local, it will be broadcast online. And now I just want to say a huge thank you to our great staff, small but mighty. We're so happy to welcome Mark Jacobson as our Director of Development this year. Carol Smith she came just shortly before I did, and we can't let her go. She's the right and left arm of the organization. And as we mentioned before, Bob Holmes, who is our genealogist, works remotely. And if there's a genealogy problem you want to solve, Bob can help you. He's amazing. Volunteers, I also want to just offer a word of thanks. They contributed about close to 2,000 hours of service time this year, be it working in the gardens and for educational programs, and also a lot of our students, National Honor Society Scouts, and so forth. So upcoming in the afternoon, just pace yourself here, lots to come. We will be having tours of the house. The new Plymouth Guard is due to arrive. And please take note of the Alden Halbert. Now, the original resides in Pilgrim Hall, but this is an exact copy. And it was, according to Jim Baker, apparently stored and forgotten about in the Alden House basement till Henry Stickney of Pilgrim Hall came calling and wanted treasures, pilgrim treasures from the various pilgrim families. And the Aldens apparently obliged and said, here, have a halberd. So, but very excited to be able to see it. It's quite an impressive piece, quite an impressive weapon there. We also will have a book signing by Richard Stone, who tells the fascinating backstory of building and sailing the Mayflower. And Stephen O'Neill, the curator who I mentioned earlier, will be here to talk about the archaeology exhibit. As Pauline mentioned, our gift shop is up in the upper floor of the barn. There's a silent auction and air conditioning. So I want to say in closing, one more. So offer my very heartfelt gratitude to Pauline. When I first learned about this job, I was fascinated and very intrigued to help with the 400th anniversary. And then I talked to Pauline and I realized that, you know, house museums are going through very tough times these years. And I thought, if anyone can help shake the dust off of a house museum, it's Pauline. And I certainly wanted to join her on that journey. She is an inspiring leader and she's just got a steadfast leadership. And, you know, we've had our challenging moments with COVID and so forth in the last few years, but we've persevered. And thank you, Pauline.
Hard to look at those pictures of me at 4 years old. I'm like, ooh, first time on the premises. Well, it's been a long, long haul and a good one. And again, I get to say a few words at this point as well. And then I'm going to call on one more person to come up and talk about things. And then we'll be finished and ready to have a photo. I'm proud of our accomplishments this past year, and as I reflect on the 10th and final year as your president of the Alden Kindred, I'm also thrilled with the progress we have made this past decade. The month after I accepted this position in 2014, the land next door, 2.5 acres, came up for sale. I think it had been available up for sale maybe 5 to 10 years before that, and nobody really said, oh no, that's expensive, we can't do that, we don't need that property. Well, I was looked at it through some different eyes, and I said, my goodness, our current barn, which I already knew was too small, and because I'd served on the board and had meetings in there, that it was right on the line, right on the property line. We couldn't go anywhere, do anything. So at my first board meeting, I said, oh, we have got to get that land. And that's when Carolyn comes in with her little check to start it, and we raised enough. We took 120,000 out of the endowment. That was unheard of. And it was the promise that it would be back in there in 18 months, and it was back in there in 18 months. So got through that hurdle, and it allowed us to have property that we could rent. And with the properties that we rent, it pays the mortgage. So that was a very good economic decision to make. And it was one that allowed us to open our eyes and keep going. And we did it in a different way. We're not a big organization. You couldn't call in a great big strategic strategy planning group and pay them thousands of dollars and 18 committees. That wasn't like that. At the same time, the Episcopal Bishop of Connecticut, whom I knew, he lived in the town, took a sabbatical and went to Harvard. And in Harvard, he learned about a process for small organizations to go get from a position of no longer to not yet. And it was an abbreviated way of getting to the future without going through hundreds of things of meetings and times and all these other things. And we decided to opt for that. And we did it diligently, rewrote our strategic plan, talked to Bill Thayer, our architect at the time, and we're off and running. Did we get set back by COVID? Yeah. Both in terms of construction, but also in terms of fundraising. It was a very tough time. This building never closed. I just want to say that this building never closed. So many small museums just folded for 2 years and they're still crawling back. We never stopped and we never closed. It was absolutely phenomenal. So, but I look back 10 years ago to see what did I say. And I said that I glanced at my horoscope in the Hartford Courant, America's oldest newspaper that morning. And the horoscope said, move forward with plans or projects that require solid teamwork. Did that turn out to be true? It did. I had to put that back in. So we created and grew, and over this decade, both on-site and off-site, our electronic status has improved tremendously. We connected to Dorking, we're twinning with them. We talked to people in the Netherlands. We're all over the world. And we were one of 3 Duxbury organizations, us, the Maritime Center, and the Rural Historical Society, who got all the other cultural groups together in town. So we needed a consortium, and we now are doing that. And once a year, we're doing See Duxbury, where everything is open to everybody in the community, and for them to get to know us and we to get to know them. Construction on the new museum building is now underway. It's dedicated to John Alden Kaiser and Virginia Kaiser, his late wife. They were solid folks, and it was the initial foot on the gas that we needed. And Alden, I'll be forever grateful for you, your presence, and Ginny's as well, to get that rolling. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of my report. I really think it's an important time in history, and I think somebody touched on it, that it's a time where we need this kind of museum that we can transmit stuff here, and we can transmit things in Europe and around this nation. And at a point in time when we were debating history, and when we're debating what's in our schools and what's not in our schools, and how much stuff people have to learn, we have a role to fill to tell people what these people did that came as pilgrims. They were immigrants. They came here, and they didn't get off that ship until they signed an agreement. It was called the Mayflower Compact. If you step out of New England, nobody knows what you're talking about. Mayflower, what? The compact. It's compact. Mayflower Compact. They agreed to govern themselves, and that is one of several doctrines that were used to help construct the U.S. Constitution. And I don't think it's any mistake at all that John Adams was a leader in that, because he'd been steeped in that as a descendant of Ruth. So we need to have people understand how that got formed and the years it took and the war it took to make it happen, and cherish it and keep it strong. And it's no time like now to be talking about it and forming people in support of what people did to make us be here today as we are. So that and all the other history things that you're digging up and finding, and it's going to make it a very special place. It can be enjoyed by somebody in England. It can be enjoyed by somebody here. We can be enjoyed by 100 kids from Brazil that came last week to do things and loved it because it was very agrarian, and they come from agrarian culture, so they could understand it. So the design team, Jerry Roberts, was on our board. He thought he was an Alden, and we couldn't prove it, but he's Bradford. We'll give him that. And but Jerry used to work at the Intrepid. He brought one of the first planes aboard it, and he did the air museum at Bradley, and he designed the Connecticut River Museum. Knows what he's doing. He's our designer, and we're meeting Tuesday to go through some plans of flow and what's going to happen in that building. I'm excited. It's really going to be good. We have raised 1.2 million to date, but we need to keep going to get it done. And what we need to get done with building, the building's taken care of, but what's in the building and what furnishes it and what keeps it going. And we also have a piece of our endowment that we want to set aside strictly for historic preservation. So one big naming opportunity left for the preservation fund. So I am convinced that we'll do things and we'll do it well. And let's see, where I want to go last. Yeah, right. So I'm going to pause right here and right now and ask Russell Rockwell, my first vice president, to come up on the stage. And I'm also asking the new development director, Mark Jacobson, was on our board, and that's his skill. And he said, I'll do the job. I said, well, get off the board and you can do the job. And so Mark's on board, and that's going to be a tremendous help as we go over this border. Well, my friend Russell Rockwell, known for a while, introduced by Rink. Remember Rink? Anybody remember Rink? Yeah. Well, Rink introduced Russell to the Alden House, 20 plus years ago. So I finally got him on the board, and he's been so valuable. When you see the movie of the house and how the history that you can see inside, it's because of him. He's made all these little things all the way along that make a difference. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm in. Oh, somebody's saying something to us, right? I'm in this checkout line in the store, and I get a bing that Russell says, "It's Christmas in July." I said, "Whoa, what's this?" I just saw, I had my glasses on. I couldn't see the numbers, but I saw a dollar sign. So I said, "Oh, get me out the car and I'll call him." So I opened it up first to read it. And he says, "My brother, Kent Rockwell, whom we've been trying to get interested in the Alden House for years. It's really not his thing, but it's Russell's thing." Calls him out of the blue and says, "I've been thinking about it. I think I'd like to make a donation to the campaign in your name, because you're on the board, and in my grandmother's name, Clara Thayer Rockwell." Okay, wonderful, right? I looked down and I said, "Am I reading this right? 500,000. Yeah, I was reading it right. I almost couldn't drive out of the parking lot. And I want to thank you and welcome you and give you a hug and say what you'd love. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline, and good afternoon, cousins. My name is Russell Alden Rockwell, and I am first vice president of the Alden Kindred. I reside in Jacksonville, Florida, so I may be unfamiliar to many of you. But if you are old enough, you may recall my father, Al Rockwell, who was CEO of Rockwell International. His father, known as Colonel Rockwell, was a very successful inventor and industrial in his own right. He married in Rhode Island, he married a Bostonian named Clara Whitcomb Thayer, who was a direct descendant of John and Priscilla. My brother Kent inherited my father's and my grandfather's entrepreneurial genes. I inherited only the good-looking genes. It has taken me several years of cajoling, pleading, and convincing my brother to support the Alden Kindred and its mission. Today, I bring good news to our organization. My cajoling has yielded wonderful results. I have with me a signed charitable gift agreement, gifting $500,000 from Kent to the Alden Kindred. One half of the funds will be released in 2025 and the other half in 2026. My brother has requested that the reception center of the new Center for Living History be named for our parental grandmother, Clara Thayer Rockwell. These funds will ensure that Pauline's dream is fully completed and that Ann's first term has adequate liquidity. I want congratulations to Paul and Alden and to you, Ann. Best of luck. And thank you, Kent. And if you're watching, I love you, brother. Thank you.
Hi, folks. I'm the newbie. I'm Mark Jacobson. It's really good to see some very familiar faces out there. And I want to thank personally the people who I look out in the room who have already participated and given of themselves for that building that is about to rise over to my right. Thank you very much for your support to date. And I'd be remiss if I didn't want to add a couple 2 cents. The correlation between the Mayflower Compact and today's society is something that's kind of missing in today's public education. The Center for Living History is going to make a real strong effort to fill that void, not only for students walking over or students driving in, but for us to learn the full story. The bad parts, and people did make mistakes back then, and the wonderful parts that have led everything to where we are today, and the lessons that we can learn to make the tomorrows even better. In all of your packets, I'd be remiss also to not ask each of you to look in and think of how you might individually participate in the campaign. We are getting within shouting distance of our $2.3 million goal here. And Russell's news this past couple of weeks, talk about not being able to drive out of a driveway. I mean, that was as good a news as I've got since I can remember. But we are within shouting distance now of making a goal not only to finish out the technology in the internal component parts of the Living History Center, but also to add to our endowment. So things that happen over here behind me to this 17th or early 18th, depending on who you talk to, century building doesn't get in the way of us moving forward is the critical component. It's the largest undertaking of the Alden Kindred since they began owning the home and opening it as a museum back in the 1920s, I think it was. So in everybody's packet, you'll see a campaign brochure that kind of outlines how the money is going to be utilized. Some of it is already being utilized, but really the focus now is to make the inside be meaningful, different from any place else that someone that wants to learn about how early American history still applies can come and learn. Young, old, and in the middle. I remember when I was 4 years old, there were no pictures taken because I was a Swedish squarehead nobody. But I loved it just the same. And I have souvenirs that I bought when I was 5 years old that still hang on my wall. And I treasure them, and I always will treasure them. So if you're interested, I'll be here all day if you want to talk a little bit more about how maybe your support can be utilized to help us put us over the top. I'm happy to answer any questions here now at any time. I've talked to a couple of people. We're going to talk about some other ideas. And there's also, of course, some giving slips and return envelopes if today is not the day. So no arm twisting, it's too hot. But I would encourage you, those who have not yet given, if you have it in your heart to give, and those who have already given, if you have it in your heart to give once again, it will be of equal value as we put this thing over the top and make this thing a star of this area and a shining example of how the Alden Kindred can pull together to make something really big happen. Thank you.
Thank you. And I almost forgot, Carol, I just saw Carol somewhere. Where are you? Oh, Carol.
Yeah.
Come here. Take that. You know, these two ladies are gonna spend the winter in a little trailer out here, you know, and we're always moving them around, shifting them around. I just have a little gift for you. It's a bag, but in this nice big soft fuzzy pillow so you can stay warm. And Desiree, this is for you. It's a box you can use to keep your vitals on the desk, but it's got a few other things in it as well.
Pauline, can we share the
Oh, He's got a memory book.
Oh, yes.
And
Fancy,
it's,
it has the
it's-
Aldens on it.
yeah,
Oh, look at this. This is
and they have a
beautiful.
ball hanging to the trailer.
Yes. The Aldens are always with us.
Okay, thank you so much, sweetie. Yeah. Yes. Is that the one? Okay.
Yeah.
And, okay,
So.
on our
it's
mem-
here.
in addition to the membership report, I know we have the youngest one here, and she's in the back. Where is the youngest baby? Oh, over there, and she's what, 2 months old, 3 months old? 7 weeks old, and it's an It's baby. I say ITZ because the Itzes have been here forever, and we have 4 generations, and this is the 4th. They had, her older sister was in that same position about 2 summers ago, so that's the youngest. We have an oldest. Do we have anybody over 90? Yes. Stand up. Who is that? Oh, it's Barbara. Oh, my goodness. Barbara, you get to hold the baby every single year. You have 2. 2 90s. Well, how old, Barbara, how old are you? 96. Anybody 97? Sorry, 96 gets it, Barbara. Oh, there, where's the other 96? Oh, stand up. I can't see you. Oh, Barbara, you're the same age. Okay. This is the mother. And that's her great granddaughter, that beautiful baby over the end. Oh, it's wonderful to see you. It's great. Thank you very much. We are all set to do the final thing is to vote for, what do you want? What am I forgetting? Oh, the membership report, you got it final? Okay. Membership report, then we're gonna have the vote and then the transfer of the gavel, and we're done.
So we're gonna do a quick membership report, but Desiree, correct me if I'm wrong. I have an announcement to make that is not as big as the one that was just made. But isn't Taylor Swift a descendant?
Marty?
We don't know.
The third graders will want to know.
Where'd you hear that? Did you?
Anyways,
We'll
membership,
see.
membership.
No.
notes. We had
The answer is no.
Wow.
Different Mayflower passengers for Taylor Swift. She's a
Sorry.
Lauren.
Find out which family she came from. We'll invite that
Probably
family
one of
next
my
year.
Anyways, the membership report, we had 137 new members last year. 5 life, 79 individual, 59 family. 137 compared to 127 the year before. We currently have 1,985 total members. It'd be nice to have 2,025 by next year.
Yes.
We have 465 life memberships, members from every state, Canada, Australia, Spain, the 2 states after Massachusetts with the most, California and New York. Membership is available to anybody. You don't have to be a descendant. We welcome everybody. Dues are $40 a year, 60 a family, life membership $500 if you're over 60. And we also now have an automatic renewal option through PayPal. And I could say a lot more, but that's it.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity, how many John Aldens do we have in the audience that are named John Alden? John Alden, and over there, I just want to make note, it's nice to see you, John W. Alden. What number are you? You're the 11th. There's been 11th, and it's what, his son is the 12th. And they're John Winthrop. They said the same middle name, and it's the Winthrop stands for Governor Winthrop, does it not? Yes. So John W. Alden's all the way down the line.
Let's get a photo.
Oh,
Yeah. So just she'll hear you.
What do you
Just
want?
tell her. Yeah, just tell her. Can't, yeah, tell her we need a photo.
Oh, we need a photo, I guess.
Karen,
of
the Alden.
Alden's,
John.
the John Aldens.
Yeah.
And the 96-year-olds. It's wonderful. I think that's terrific. All right, Lily Cleveland, would you come forward and present the slate? We'll vote on that and hey.
In the back.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Lily, and I chaired the nominating committee this time around. We have the following slate of officers and board members to present to you today, and thank you for your service. First is our president, Ann Kabuzzi. First vice president, Russell Rockwell. Second vice president, John Alden, Esquire. Treasurer, Richard Holmes. Secretary, Evelyn Walker. Then board members at large, myself, Lily Cleveland, Linda Johnson, MD, PhD, Robert Matheson, Tom McCarthy, Gregory O'Donnell, Peter Randall, Linda Seal, Jennifer Cinsagali, Pam Campbell-Smith, and Tom Weissler. Appointed members are, of course, Christopher Lee, our genealogist, Tom McCarthy, our historian, and Reverend Peter Smith, our chaplain. Thank you all for your service. Okay, and we'll vote on the slate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. That's great. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
How does it feel to be officially retired? Surprisingly nice. Thank you and congratulations to Ann. Oops. Broke the gavel. I hope that's not an omen.
No.
I hand you this gavel and I wish you all success in that role. I know you will be. You're the perfect person at this time to take over. And she's so talented and all the talent at the right time. And I have one thing for you.
Oh, okay.
This will surprise Alicia. When I became the president, Alicia gave me a wonderful old frame with a postcard in it from the Alden House. And I looked at it and I said, it's only fitting that I send it now to you.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you.
You take care, honey. You see it.
Yeah, she wants us to stand right here for a picture.
Oh,
Okay, you ready?
yeah. Thank you. All right, it's all yours.
All right. Hey, kids, it's beautiful wrapping. That means we need to save it, right? All right. I promise you my remarks are less than 5 minutes and we're gonna do 4 things. I'm very efficient, if nothing else.
Alden wants to say something that's very.
Oh, okay. I will let you speak, Alden, I promise. Okay. All right. First things first, there are 2 people here we need to celebrate. We had a short celebration last night where Pauline and Alden received a personalized monogrammed hard hats for all their work with the new building. So I expect you to be wearing those on site. So our current president, Pauline Kieser, who, if you haven't figured out, is my mom, has been a volunteer leader with the AKA for over 20 years and has served as a president for the last 10. She attended reunions here as a child as her family summered here on Shipyard Lane. So she has been involved for nearly 80 years in some capacity. Truly remarkable. She's a force, as you've been hearing, and a big thinker, and has been tirelessly working to increase the footprint and exposure of the Alden House historic site. Even when a pandemic hit that paralyzed the world, she had just launched the capital campaign and she worked like crazy behind the scenes, and she waited for the right time to relaunch and get started. In the last few years, she has led that charge to secure the funding, and we are now at $2 million after that great
a gift this morning towards our goal of 2.3. So I know we're gonna get there, but thank you for leaving me in this position. Madam President, we would like to present you with this beautiful personalized teacup with teas and goodies to enjoy. Says President Pauline, 2014-2024. She loves her tea. She's a true pilgrim. Our current treasurer, Alden Kaiser, has been a volunteer leader for AKA for over 40 years. He's held various board roles for 40 of those years, and he has been a very generous donor during those 40 years. He is truly the heartbeat of AKA. He is also still has every binder from all those years of service, so he is in fact our historian. Many of us cannot remember a time when Alden wasn't a leader here, and he has quietly and confidently led us through the past 4 decades with grace and humility. Alden embodies the title of Emeritus Board Member, which by definition is a former board member who has been recognized for their contributions to an organization. They are highly respected and have a deep understanding of the organization's history, values, and goals. They are often sought after for their advice and guidance. No better definition for you. Thus, we, the board, are delighted to honor him with the role of board member emeritus, and we look forward to his continued support and guidance. While Pauline is a tea lady, Alden is a G&T man. So we present him with personalized G&T glasses and accessories to have a lovely evening to celebrate your new status. Yeah. Okay. We also have one more surprise for you, Pauline and Alden. So come on up here. We have a brick for each of you honoring your years of board service, and they will be prominently displayed on the new walkway to the Center for Living History. Ready? Alden, Senzel. Pauline, she wants you to come over here. Yeah. Come over there around.
My question is, will be worth it.
Yes, you want to come back a little bit. She wants us in the back. The sign is here. All right. Okay, let's see your breath. For those of you who do not have a brick, I encourage you to be part of our new center for by purchasing a brick for you or your family. They are really great gifts. And you can see that we preserve our property quite well, so your name will live on for hundreds of years, continuing the Alden tradition. Okay. You know what, Alden, I'll let you speak now, and then I'll finish. How's that? Alden wants to say something, and he deserves it after his 40 years of service.
I'll be brief. I just can't let Pauline get out of here without saying a few things. I've known Pauline for over 20 years, but then I've been around so long that I know a lot of Aldens, both present and past. I met Pauline about 20 years ago when Linda Osborne, the former president, got a call, I guess, from Pauline. She wanted to hold a strategic planning retreat for the board, which she came up and conducted. And I went to that, and I knew that this was immediately that this was not the last I had heard from Pauline. She has had a solid record of accomplishment. Anne and Pauline have enumerated all of her accomplishments, so I'm not going to go through those. But 2 biggies were acquiring the property next door and enabling non-descendants to be members of the Kindred and members of the board. And finally, she's been a person that I have really enjoyed working with. They say in life, a person will come and go from many homes. We may leave a house, a town, a room, but that does not mean those places leave us. Once entered, we never entirely depart the homes we make for ourselves in the world. They also say, when you are through changing, you are through. So Pauline, I hope you keep changing. May today's success be the beginning of tomorrow's achievements. Congratulations.
Somehow I feel like he's my second dad. All right. All right, the last 2 minutes, guys, and we're there. You can get up and walk around. Thank you all for your vote of confidence as I take on this presidency. I'm acutely aware of the legacy I am now charged with leading. I'm also delighted I am not alone, as I have a wonderful support system. Our excellent staff, Desiree, Mark, Carol, they lead the operations, the fund development, and the events, and they keep us running. I want to thank my new executive team, Russell Rockwell, John Alden, Treasurer Rich Holmes, and Evelyn Walker. Thank you so much for staying on to support me in this. And to our new board members, Tom Woislaw, who I just discovered we lived in the same town for like 6 years and didn't know it in Pennsylvania. So we had a lot of catching up to do. Linda Seal, who's here. Linda Johnson is here. Hi, Linda. Robert Matheson, who I just met, and we have another connection. Who knew how many people had a connection to Chaddsford, Pennsylvania, but I'm very glad. Thank you for joining us. A huge thanks to the current board members, Lily Cleveland, Pam Campbell-Smith, Tom McCarthy, Peter Randall, Greg O'Donnell, and Jensen Segali. Thank you for continuing on to work with us. Really appreciate it. For those who don't know me, I'm a Jonathan and apparently Elizabeth descendant as well. And I have been a volunteer leader for the Alden Kindred for over 10 years. I have a corporate background and served on many nonprofit boards. I'm very organized and achievement oriented, and I've led many teams all over the world. So I truly understand that progress comes from working together and leveraging the strengths of each team member. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know all the board members and building upon all the great work that has been done to get us where we are today, as we look forward to the future for the historic Alden House historic site. I want to thank a few people because no leader achieves great things without a support system. My mom and dad, Pauline and Ken Kieser, who have been my role models my whole life. My husband, Bob, who is my biggest champion and encouraged me to take this role. Yes, mom is very happy for that, honey. My kids who support me and can always make me laugh and enjoy life. 3 of them here today, Katie, Jen, and Dave, all the way from Pennsylvania. Thank you, kids. And my sister, Cindy, who I adore and is always there to listen, advise, and support me. Sister love is absolutely the best. And to my brother-in-law, Randy, who drove them all up here today, and it's his birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, Randy. All right. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.